Algorithms are taking over and discretionary traders are losing their edge. You can see that the algorithm is giving out a signal. We get a sell signal and the market does go down quite a bit. If you would have traded this, you could have made quite a lot of money, and that's about 74% of the time. Hi there. Welcome back to episode 2 of this series where I'm going to try to turn you into a algorithmic trader which can actually develop something to make money with. In today's video, what I've done is I created a poll in Discord. If you're not in Discord already, there is a link to join for free in the description. And I asked you guys, what would you like to see me build today? You all wanted to see me create a self-learning indicator on TradingView. And so I did. I spent today building something from absolute scratch. Before we get into the algorithm itself, allow me to give you this little introduction here. We all need to understand something, and we often seem to forget this. We are all so caught up in failure that we do not understand that failure is actually the key to success. Each mistake that we make brings us closer to the end goal, and we all need to remember that. We've all likely blown accounts, we have let the emotions that we feel get the better of us, but eventually we learn. Because like Einstein says, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. Like I have said in episode 1, it is going to be very difficult if you're only starting out and are not profitable yet to become a profitable trader with manual trading. It is going to be almost impossible, simply because the algorithms are taking over and discretionary traders are losing their edge. But let's not forget this simple quote right here. Failure is the key to success. We need to learn from mistakes. Even if we develop systems, even those systems need to learn from mistakes to reach the end goal. What I also want you to think about, because all the gurus online are telling you, spend your entire 20 to 30s in monk mode and do not go out on the weekends, do not have fun, do not travel, do not do anything. I think that is BS. I think you should be able to spend time on what matters the most. Because before you know it, life has faded away and you're going to be looking back at it in remorse. So if we are going to spend time to build on something for ourselves, let's try to do it as efficiently as possible. And there is another famous quote which says, never automate something that can be eliminated and never delegate something that can be automated. And I hope that's going to make sense when I'm presenting the algo. So I created a TradingView indicator. And the indicator is a self-learning type of indicator. So it works with very basic stuff, and I will get into the nitty and gritty. But it takes those simple parameters and then tries to see when they work and when they don't work. And it tries to learn from those conditions to be able to execute better the next time. Now, that might sound vague, so let me just quickly showcase what it can do first. And as soon as I've done that, I will get into the nitty and gritty of how it works, and even how we can make it better than it already is. And trust me, you'll see, it's pretty damn good. I'm impressed at what I could create in such a short amount of time. And by the way, this data is live. As you can see in the top left corner, you see that green dot. This is no backtesting. This was just my screen at the moment of recording this video. So let us dissect this really big page that we're seeing right now. Let's go to the first signal. So the first signal, which is going to be the one on the left hand top right here, you can see that we have a bullish trend going into a bearish trend. And then you can see that the algorithm is giving out a signal, a short signal. It's the red arrow right down there, which is where you would sell. And when you would get out of your position, that is something that the algo does not decide for you, because that's a very complex way of working, especially if you want to work with stop losses and risk management. I didn't put all of that time in that because I just wanted to show you the essence of how to implement decision making, a decision making system that can basically learn from its own decisions. And here is that second signal that you could see. And note how it does not give a buy signal right there on the left. No. It says we're not going to buy here, and then that bullish trend turns into a bearish trend again according to the indicator, and it says to short. And as you can see, we can write that momentum down once again. Now, you probably saw that these were all very bearish conditions, and it's pretty easy to say, yeah, but hey, those are bearish conditions. How about bullish conditions? Well, here they are. I don't know if you can see it pretty well, but here we have an uptrend, and the indicator did not give one single sell signal. No, it told you to buy at the beginning of the trend, and it kept on telling you to buy after we pulled back. So it's pretty damn good at trend identification. That's pretty mesmerizing to me. So then you probably think, okay, but what about if the trend is not clear? It probably doesn't work then, does it? Well, it kind of does. Yes, the indicator works in trends, that's all nice and dandy, but how about consolidation? Well, let's look right here. The first sell signal is created right here after this bit of what the indicator is calling bullish has happened. We get a sell signal and the market does go down quite a bit before we actually start to receive a buy signal. Now again, by no means does a buy signal mean that you have to close a sell position. You need to make that decision on your own. And I will get exactly into how the indicator learns from those signals. But first, I'll just cover the consolidation right here. So here we get a buy signal and the market does push up quite a bit. Then after that nice momentum push is over, we get a sell signal. And that sell signal goes all the way down and no new signals are produced at all. And then the market seems to shift right here. And what happens? We start to ride it up and we can profit from that. It says to sell. And as you can see, we do ride that wave down quite a bit. And then it encourages us to buy again. And once again, we can ride that momentum upwards. And as you can see, this is a consolidating range. We have highs, we have lows, we do not have a clear trend. And yeah, if you would have traded this, you could have made quite a lot of money. Wouldn't you agree? So that's enough about the performance of the indicator. We can see that the indicator is performing quite well. Is it perfect? Oh no. But let's actually start talking about how it works. You've probably seen on the previous few slides that we have this little blue box right here. Now, what's in that little blue box? Because I can imagine it's very difficult to read, especially if you're on mobile. So let's get into that. Let us talk about the parameters that the bot is giving us. So first, we have bullish confidence. We have bearish confidence. And those two are basically saying, how confident am I right now that the market is either bullish or bearish? So if we look at the example that's on screen right now, which was live at the moment of taking that screenshot, it was 43% confident that the market was bullish and it was 37% confident that the market was going to continue bearish. Now, with those confidence levels, it's not going to give you signals. So if it's not confident about giving a bearish or bullish signal, it won't give you one. It's as simple as that. And then we have these stats, which are basically all connected. We have our bull rate, which is basically going to be the times that I predicted it to be bullish. How many times was I right? And that's about 74% of the time. And then the times that I gave a signal and I was bearish, how many times was I right? And that's 88.08% of the time. You can look at these as the win rates. So the strategy has a bullish win rate on the time span that we showcased of 74.6%. And a bearish win rate of around 88%. And that is measured on a total of 193 trades. So automatically, we almost backtested around 400 trades by doing what? By just opening the charts. We collect the data, we reviewed the data, we optimized the data, we learned from the data, we applied the new data. And that is what it did. And trust me when I say that at the start of trading, it was way dumber than it is at the end. And that's very logical because it's going to learn over time and you cannot access a lot of data on TradingView. Now, let me go into depth in all of the phases here because I understand that these parameters or constraints are likely not going to be super meaningful to you. So let us talk about the learning phase, and I will dissect it into very simplistic conditions because of course the science and the math behind machine learning is quite complex. And even though that this model right here is not really a machine learning model, it does apply the principles, and that's basically what I wanted to showcase. Because I did not use an existing machine learning model here because it's simply not possible in TradingView. So I created my own learning system. Would I call it deep neural network machine learning? Oh no. Definitely not. But let me cover it right here. So how does the indicator learn from the market conditions? The indicator is basically observing simple trading signals. And what could a trading signal be? Let's assume you're an RSI trader. What is your entry signal for a short? It's going to be when the RSI, for example, is overbought. What if you are a breakout trader? Your buy entry signal is going to be when we break out above previous highs. And those are signals for you to enter. Now, this specific indicator that I created here is not going to just use one or two signals. No, it's going to use quite a bit of signals. I think in this particular instance, we used around 6 signals or 6 indicators or conditions that had to be met. And then we were going to decide, are we going to take a buy? And that whole decision-making process is not as simple as having some confluences. So let's say you're an RSI trader and you work with an EMA and an RSI. You need both the RSI and the EMA to be buy before you buy. This is not the case. So the indicator is actually going to learn which signals are useful when. So when we are consolidating, it wouldn't really make sense to use moving averages. And when we are trending quite heavy, it's not really going to make sense to use an RSI. And those are all things that I didn't teach the indicator to do. No, it actually taught it to do that by itself, which is super nice. All right, so how did it learn whether it was wrong or right? Well, in the background, when you load it up, before it actually plots anything, it's going to learn. It's going to make a prediction and it's going to wait 10 bars to see if price actually moved in that expected direction. If it did, good, then it was right. If it didn't, well, good, then it learned that it was wrong and it's going to try and learn why. It's going to observe both the price and the price action as well as all the other signals. So it's basically going to keep track of all the correct versus incorrect predictions, and it's going to be taking notes on that just like you would if you were manually reviewing your strategy. And over time, it is going to be building knowledge about which signal is going to work best. Meaning that if we have a list of 10 signals, and in certain conditions we can see that only 5 signals are working very well, then it's in those conditions going to use those 5 signals and basically ignore those 5 others. So let's use the analogy here that you're trying out a new trading strategy, you test it, you backtest the results and journal them, you refine your approach. Well, this indicator is basically doing that entire process all by itself. So we can actually assume that the indicator has some smart decision making that it is doing. But how does the indicator actually decide? So before giving you a buy or a sell signal, because it's not just doing it on specific crossovers or when the line turns from green to red, no. The lines that you could see on the chart, they were indicating what the indicator thinks the trend is at that moment. The current time frame trend, but it of course uses higher time frames. It is going to use a very smart decision-making process, which is going to be mostly dependent in this specific scenario on 4 parameters. It is going to use past performance, meaning that it will go back in the past and see if a signal worked or not. Secondly, it is going to look how strong the trend is right now. Is the market already moving in a clear direction? Then we're not going to try and oppose that unless we have clear signals indicating so. Then number 3 is going to be the market volatility. Is the market too unpredictable right now? Are we perhaps spitting out too many signals? If that's the case, if for example, it is 50% confident that we will have a bullish trend and also 50% confident that we'll have a bearish trend, for example, well, it's not going to decide to give you a signal. It's rather going to say, no, because both ends actually seem likely. And that is a volatile market that is not easy to predict. And then, of course, we are going to be using momentum. So in combination with the strength of the trend, we are going to see how consistently and how strongly is price moving in that direction. And that's also something that this indicator really uses. And I think those are 4 very big components of decision making in how the market is moving and how you can apply trend following or trend adapting strategies and take trades based off of it. So to summarize, instead of blindly following the signals that we give it, it applies a layer of intelligence to each and every decision. So let us talk about the confidence score that we saw. So the confidence score meaning that how confident is it that it's going to be bullish or how confident is it that it's going to be bearish. The indicator will automatically assign a confidence score for every potential trade that it's about to take. If the confidence level is below 50%, it will never take a trade. But if the confidence is above 50% and all of the signals align, it will create a buy or a sell signal if needed. So the analogy here is that it's basically like risk assessment. Are you going to execute? If you have a 1-to-1 risk to reward strategy, are you going to be executing when you only have a 40% win rate on that specific setup? I don't think you would, right? And that's exactly the same for this system. It is only going to be executing trades when it is reasonably sure that it will win. And as you can see on top of the candles, you will see all of this information displayed, and I will go into a demo in just a second here. So how does the indicator work and how does it visualize itself? So we will see green triangles appear below the price, and that means that there is a buy signal given by the indicator. When red triangles appear above the price, that means that we have sell signals and we could take shorts from there. Now, the trend line also changes color, and like I briefly stated before, this is going to mean whether it's going to be bullish, green, or bearish, red, momentum in the charts right now. And this can also be used to be exiting your trades. So if you do not want to go into drawdown, you could exit, for example, when you see the color of the line changes. This doesn't mean that the trend is done, but this does mean that the momentum is dying down, which means that you could potentially be going into drawdown. And so Right after this slide, we are going to get into the indicator, but first I want to tell you why all of this matters. Why is this indicator so useful? And you will see this in just a second, but not just about the stats. This indicator is very useful because it learns how to filter out weak signals and how you can reduce unnecessary trades, which is something that I do not see a lot of indicators on TradingView do right now. It is going to continuously adapt to different market conditions, more specifically on the data that you feed it right now. It is not going to use data from years ago. It is going to use data from the past few days or whatever data you have available in TradingView right now. So for me, I can go up to 5,000 bars basically with my premium plan. Or it could be more, I'm not sure, but I did the testing on 5,000 bars. It will act like a complete hybrid trading assistant because it's going to learn from experience. It's going to be taking setups, it's going to be reviewing the setups, and it's going to learn how to adapt based on the mistakes it made and based on the winning trades that it made. And it's hybrid, so you can still decide whether you're going to execute the trade or not, which is also quite beautiful. So instead of having predefined rigid rules, the system is able to adjust dynamically to the market changes, which is something that we humans very often have difficulties with. All right, enough talking. Let's actually jump into the charts right here and showcase what the indicator can do. All right, so right here we are now on the charts, and as you can see, this is all live market data. Right now you can see the green dot right here, the markets are open, and you can see that the candles are actually printing live right here. So if we look at the example that we can see right here, we can see that we have sell signals right here. Here is a sell signal that then failed, and here's another sell signal that failed. Here's a sell signal that could have made a very big win, and here's another one that made a very big win. So let us assume that we actually want to be backtesting on this. So let us go to this specific candle right here. So let us play the market right here and wait till we get a signal. All right, so on this candle right here, we actually do get a signal. So let us smack on a short right here. Let us use those previous candles high, for example, as a stop loss. With this system, you do not necessarily need to place a stop loss because the indicator will show you when the momentum is dead and when you can potentially exit. But let's assume that we trade with a stop loss and a take profit, and we are going to say we want to score a 1 to 3, for example, and a 1 to 3 is right below this low right here, and this seems to be a low from the Frankfurt session. So that could be a very good potential target. Let's see what it does. Boom, it instantly runs it, and we could have probably targeted even lower, but that's 1 to 3 right there, and I'll let it continue here. Now it seems to be pulling back quite aggressively. And if you would have actually waited for the momentum to actually change here from the indicator, and that's what I mean, it's by no means perfect, you would close your position, I think right here on this candle, which would mean that you do actually get a little bit of a loss. Let's continue here. Here we receive another sell signal, and I'm not going to be placing the trades here anymore. Let's use our imagination and you decide how you would want to trade this. And as we can see, price does push down quite a bit. So let's say you took a short right here and you decided to exit as soon as you noticed that price was starting to push back and we noticed this curve upwards, which would be right here. This would be your chunk of profit, for example. And as you can see right here, it indicated the momentum has died down and the trade is basically over if you were to follow that momentum that the indicator has created. But overall, I would say this was a successful sell signal. As you can see, big push up, but we did not receive a buy signal, which means that the system was not confident. And let's actually go back right here to when we shifted to bullish. As you can see, the system was only 40.9% confident that the market would go up. So it didn't give out a signal, which is perfect to me because if I have a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, I do not want to take anything below 50% win rate, for example, right? And as you can see, as the momentum and stuff increases, the bullish confidence is going to stay pretty high and the bearish confidence is going to be pretty damn low. Now you can see that it is systematically dropping that bullish confidence. We can see that the trend is potentially exhausted. And now as you can see, while the indicator is still showing that there is still bullish momentum, we can already see that there is more bearish confidence than bullish confidence. All right, and here we received a signal, but I can immediately see that even a candle later, it already printed green, so that there is momentum to the upside again, and it lost its confidence in a bearish trade. So perfect position to go break even. Alrighty, so here we go again. We now receive a sell signal, previous high as a stop loss, and just let this trade run for a little bit. Let's actually use the momentum in this case. We can actually see that price is pushing down quite a bit. and we can simply stay in that position. So that's the beauty of it, right? If you follow the momentum, you could have quick losses, but your wins will be pretty big because it's usually pretty on fleek with the sentiment of the market. And then you would exit right here on that little bullish candle. This would, for example, give you a 1.6R return, which is pretty nice, especially if you consider that it has a win rate of 70 to 80%, right? And then here, once again, you get another bearish signal right here. Set the stop loss above the previous high. However, we want to tackle that, and let's use the momentum again. That is also pushing quite nicely, and those of you who know me, I would likely try to get out at critical points of liquidity like this New York session low right here, for example, because I'm usually expecting pullbacks. I, of course, didn't teach the indicator that. And here we go. Now we're back at the present right here. So if you would have listened to the momentum, you could have gotten out right here for another 2R. All right, so there we go. Now on screen, what do we have? We have the period that we have backtested. And as you can see, we took a short, which was a win, another short, which was a clear win, a short, which was a break even or a slight loss, another short, which again was a break even or a slight loss. And then we had a pretty decent push down, so a nice winner, and another nice winner right here. And if you would have targeted the liquidity in both instances, for example, then you would have likely been able to walk away with quite a bit of cash, as you can see. All right, so you're probably wondering now, does this only work on gold? No, it actually works on absolutely everything, and it will analyze the data on absolutely everything. So here we have EU, for example. So let's see how it does on EU. So on EU, it gave a buy signal here, price ran all the way up, gave a sell signal here, ran all the way down, gave a buy signal, ran all the way up, and here as well, gave a buy signal and ran all the way up. And as you can see right here and right now live, each tick, it is basically giving updates on the confidence of price continuing bullish or bearish. And it will also show you the stats. So as you can see, the stats are very different here on EU, and it even managed to squeeze out a little bit more trades. All right, so that was it for the demo, the case study. I hope you liked that case study. I honestly am pretty impressed with the results of this indicator, knowing that I created it basically within a day. And let's actually talk about how we can make it even better. So some steps we could take and ways we could expand this logic would be to add more and more advanced trading signals. So if we add more signals, that means we give the indicator the opportunity to learn from a lot more data. And if it is able to process a lot more data, it's also going to be able to basically create a lot more high quality signals. We could also give it longer look back periods for stronger data analysis. But at that point, we are actually starting to hit limits with TradingView. Because as we know, TradingView has a limit on the look back that you can basically give indicators. And we could also just process a lot more data in proper machine learning models. And again, we hit a roadblock there. So we need to keep in mind that TradingView is likely not going to be the best place to actually start developing your self-learning systems. So key takeaways that I personally took away from this indicator and that I'm going to give with you are going to be that this is an indicator that learns. It doesn't just blindly follow rules, and so should you. It analyzes market conditions before taking trades, just like a profitable trader should be doing. It adapts over time, improving decision making, even in changing conditions, and so should you. It is able to filter out weak signals, and it reduces noise and false trades, which you should also be doing. Ultimately, this is a great tool to help make traders a lot smarter and make data-driven decisions. Even if this does not align with your strategy, it can for sure help, knowing that it has an extremely high accuracy rate. But we also have to realize some things, because nothing is perfect, is it? Though we could see some pretty good results, we still need to process more data. It also makes mistakes. It's not perfect. And like I mentioned before, FineScript has limitations, and also the data that TradingView provides has limitations. And unfortunately, we cannot make calls to backends or APIs straight out of FineScript. That's simply not possible. So we need to understand that the true power is in bigger, more mature, and more advanced machine learning models, which is something that I personally use and I am obviously going to be covering in the next couple of videos. But this was just showcasing what is possible, and that this is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more to look at here. While I was chatting with some members on Discord, questions that I got asked in the DMs was, how long did it take you to actually develop this indicator right here? And I think you will be surprised. It only took me 3 hours with shenanigans in between, like me scrolling over Instagram, watching a YouTube video, listening to some music. So it didn't really take me that much time. And I'm not a professional PineScript coder at all. I do, however, have a very strong background in software development, so that of course really helps. And of course, I have a very good understanding of machine learning itself, and I have created a ton of algos, developed a super advanced algo myself. So this to me, honestly, was not too difficult. Now, you too can actually do this. It's not that difficult. You have a lot of documentation out there, but what you will not find, unfortunately, are going to be courses that will teach you how to do it right. So that right there is my mission to you guys. I want to basically teach you from scratch how you can get to do all of this, and not just this, way more, because like I said, this is peanuts to what you can actually achieve. And that's something that we're going to be striving for. Before I end the video, I have a few thoughts and questions. I want to start an open discussion both here in YouTube as well as in the Discord server. Now you've seen how this works, this indicator, and the theory behind creating such an indicator. What do you think about that? How do you think you can leverage that? Do you have any questions about how it could be improved? How we could, for example, create a more advanced algorithm? Do you have any questions about that specifically? Have you ever used a learning-based indicator before? And if so, did you create it yourself or was it one you've bought? Well guys, that is going to conclude this beautiful video right here. It did take me quite some time, of course, to make this video. So I always appreciate some feedback and just a few minutes of your time in the comments. Perhaps even a like if you liked the video. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon so you get notified when I upload a new video. Other than that, guys, I do encourage you to join me in the Discord server so we can have a chat. And other than that, I wish you a fantastic rest of your day, night, morning, wherever you are. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.